do you do that? How do you pin?
Oh, up at the top, you just put your little scroller over the person's video and then you pin it. I don't know if you have to be in charge or what, but all right. Hey guys, we're recording. It's our Lunch and Learn Tuesdays. And so it's really awesome that we're able to record these. So today we have our first guest speaker in a few months, and I'm super pumped to introduce her, Heather Johnson, who's she's just as beautiful on the inside as the outside. She's such an amazing personality, so vibrant, and just you really connect with her. But what I love about her the most is like she does have such an amazing story that she's been able to overcome so many things. So currently right now she is a Success Club legend, which means she's been consistent in her business for years and years and years. She's been a coach since June 2011 and a 2-star qualifying coach, which means she's eligible to open up her second business center and kind of duplicate what she's already done with herself, which is kind of a really big deal. And she's qualifying for Elite right now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And you've got 5 lifetime diamonds and
yes, it's a big year for us.
Yes. So cool. It's so cool because it doesn't become about like you. It's now like your team working together and just having that amazingness. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to pin Heather so you guys can meet. I'll let her talk and we'll just rock and roll from there. So take it away.
Okay, cool. I'm actually going to do a screen share. So, because I put a little PowerPoint together, it helps me keep on track. So, gonna expand this. All right, so this is my family, and they're a huge why. I always told myself that I would never let my kids be my excuse. That's just what I grew up around, and I live in North Dakota. I'm born and raised here, and I'm still here. It's a great community of hardworking people, a great state. But I feel like I grew up on the mashed potatoes, like lasagna, like a lot of heavy carbs, and still to this day, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of heavy carbs, and what that did for me is that turned into a really bad sugar addiction that I was able to combat after I was 31 years old when I decided I'm sick of this. I'm sick of feeling like crap. I'm sick of feeling lonely. And that's kind of how I found Beachbody. But I'm a mom of 2, and they are actually, I put 4 and 5. You know, if you guys are moms, like time passes so quickly. So like they're actually 5 and 6. I don't know why I put 4 and 5, but they just turned 5 and 6, and they are in first grade and kindergarten. And I started my journey of getting healthier when Aaliyah, my youngest, so she's on Justin's back there, when she was just 8 weeks old or something like that. So they don't really know anything different, which is totally different than what I got brought up in. And I love that. I love the culture here of Beachbody. But I am a former 3rd grade teacher. I don't think many people know that. I taught for 8 years, and I absolutely loved it. I loved adding value to those little honeys. And now I get to do that with this health and fitness background. And it's so funny because I was never that health and fitness girl. Ever. I wasn't. I got cut from my volleyball team my senior year or my junior year of high school because I was the chunky one. I was always the cheerleader. I was always the people called me the brown noser, although I didn't really want to be, but I just was coined that for my teachers because they always loved just my work ethic. And so I feel like a lot of my intrinsic behaviors or just the way that God made me is just so fitting for this. And so I just love that. I feel like I've finally arrived, but it's taken some time to have people want to do what I'm doing. And I was awful at inviting. And I guess it's kind of funny that I'm actually talking about that today, but I've definitely developed some skills, and I'm very confident that I'll be able to add a little bit of value to your businesses here. But I love music, coffee, podcasts, skiing, traveling, my faith, reading, connecting with people. I love girls' night in Bunko. In fact, I'm kind of known as the social chair of our community. So if I don't invite, we just don't get together. And sometimes I throw myself a pity party because I'm like, well, no one really invites me. And I'm like, no, I remember listening to a Shalane podcast. She's like, you just have to own it. Like you're the social person, rally the troops. So yeah. And, okay, so let's move on. So obviously we are talking about inviting and also tracking. And okay, I always wondered, why do they say invite, invite, invite? So here are just some of the different categories of what I feel they mean. So invite is friend requesting, commenting on other people's statuses, being interested in other people, calling people. I mean, those are some things that we need to be doing every single day. Also, another invite. So invite number 2 would be if you have a fit club, or if you are going to the gym, or you have a home gym, or even if you have people meet with you online. I've even seen some people where they have a live Zoom chat where they do Beachbody on demand, and they're like, okay, we're going to work out together. You guys can actually see each other on your screen and you're working out live, but through the Beachbody on demand. That's also pretty fun. But just to let you help them with whatever they need. Another invite, so invite number 3 is just to a challenge group, to a business opportunity, a webinar, or sneak peek, but whatever fits and whatever flows with your conversation. That's really what I think of when they say invite, invite, invite. So tips number 1 and 2. Okay, if you guys feel icky about inviting, you best check yourself. All right. So, I mean, seriously, if you feel icky about the way that you're approaching people, you probably are coming off as icky. And I know I was that way because there were no tools when I started. And I know, Meredith, you've kind of started around the very same time too. Like, I didn't know, we didn't have any really important invite process scripts or effective ones anyway. So the more you insert yourself into perhaps maybe what I'm showing you today, you'll be able to just get your flow and get your system down and find your voice. So tip number 2 with inviting is don't force it. If you don't have a relationship yet, it'll feel kind of icky to them. I have had so many people private message me from different companies that I won't name, just randomly. Hey, wouldn't you check out this webinar? And hey, did you see this? And just all these really icky things. I'm like, I don't ever want to do that to people. So let's not be a culture where that happens. Okay, so as many of you know, invite process vital behavior number 2 is just be a product of the product. Be proof the products work. You don't have to be a certain size, obviously, but you just have to be along your journey. And I know lately I've been kind of fluctuating. Like I get results and then I like gain a little bit back, and then I get results and then I gain a little back. It's so frustrating. And I'm like, okay, I need to be posting about that because I think everyone really relates to that. But you need to be posting consistently online. You need to show up, you guys. People are expecting us to fail. I'm just going to be honest with you, because there are all these companies that are posting their products and their websites and all that, and most people fail. Most people flop. They are waiting for us to do the same. We need to be consistently showing up and treating our business as a business. Or else, if you're not posting on a consistent basis, it doesn't have to be about health and fitness, but just sprinkling breadcrumbs along your week, then if you're consistent, people will say, she's really in this. She's really in this, isn't she? So I just put down, inviting becomes easier if you're leaving breadcrumbs and also showing or posting about your results. So here are just a few pictures that were some really effective posts about, like I really wanted to work on my arms, and P90X3 was a killer program for me. And just with that before and after picture of right after I had Aaliyah and me in my swimsuit, I mean, that was after the ultimate reset, and it was crazy like what happened. So if they believe your body 100%, it's going to be so much easier for you to be able to talk about what you've been doing. And I put down the 80-20 rule. So I remember, I feel like this was either at Smart Success or Market Impact. I'm not sure. I've done so many of Shalene's trainings, but she said it's when you're posting on social media, be okay with targeting to only 20% of your lifers. And let me say that again. When you post on social media, you need to be targeting a certain audience. So 80% of the people that see your posts, they're not going to be your lifer. But 20% of them will get you, and they are going to change your life, and they're going to change your business. So I've always remembered that. So always think about, okay, who's your ideal client? Who's behind the computer? And who do you really want to be working with? Okay, so vital behavior number 3. This is what a lot of my new coaches and even myself really skipped out on. Good luck on your business if you're not doing this on a daily basis. Good luck. And they say 10 to 15 minutes a day. No, no, I would say at least 30 minutes. So whether that's a podcast, commuting, I know right now I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I have an hour per day, and I do an hour per day on personal development. Here are just my go-to podcasts. Well, actually, YouTube. There are a lot of coaches out there on social media who are posting and sharing their content, and I love them for it. But I always listen to the Team Beachbody podcast and the Platinum Edge, and obviously our team calls. But make sure that you're not missing out on even just reading. Lately, I have been traveling a lot and commuting, and I bought myself a Bluetooth. It's like Jabra is what I use, and of course it's tax deductible. So keep your receipt. And was probably the best $70 I ever spent, because when I'm cooking or when I'm on the road or when I'm, let's say, doing yard work or something, I will pop that in and I multitask and I listen to something that fulfills me and that excites me, and that just that's how I get in my personal development. And you can too, but you will not move forward in this business if you don't believe that you can change personally. When you're not passionate about life and when you're not passionate about helping others, you will not find people who are going to join your tribe. I mean, if your passion and your excitement about whatever you're doing, maybe it's something like personally, I am always working on time management. Always. It's always been a struggle of mine. In fact, time management or even like organization. I mean, look at this, you guys. I've used so many different things. Like I started a legal pad thing, and then I started my notebook, and then I have, and then my passion planner is like my go-to now. But even though I love my passion planner, and I talked about it even on my life page today, I'm a mess. Like it bothers me that I can't get it, but be okay with not getting it right away. If you are struggling with something, post about it on social media. For example, this morning I said I used to be a hot mess in this area, but I read Eat That Frog, pushed by Shalene, and I found a passion planner. And, it doesn't have to be about you changing in health and fitness, but just being a better person. I love the book Jab, 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 Right Hook. You've got to be strategic. I know, Meredith, you teach this to your team. Have a monthly flow, and that monthly flow is really going to help you. But be very strategic with your social media. I know that you just write down a list of things that you feel you're good at. I have my coaches do this. It's called the Fab Five, we call it. So what 5 things are you really good at? And be posting about that throughout the week. And I know Fit Rocker Chick, Erin Sanderson, she's a good friend of mine. What she does is she does her makeup and her hair, and she'll take like 3 different outfits, and she'll go around Nashville, or she'll do something and she'll take different pictures while she's all done up. And how cool is that? That's a great idea. And she has like 2 weeks worth of content. But you can't really know. I mean, if you're wondering what to post, go on other coach pages and see what they're doing. Click on the photo section and go, oh, I like that. And write it down or save it in a folder so that you can recreate it yourself instead of going, ooh, share. And another tip that I always tell my coaches is don't like other people's pages. We follow each other around in a circle, and you know what they do? And I do it all the time. I'm going to talk about it in a second. I advertise to the people who like my page and their friends. So if you kind of are talking to people on maybe it's inviting to a challenge group, and you're like, oh, you're connected to another coach, and then you realize, oh, I like their page. They're targeting my friends. Be inspired by other coaches. And this is just my strong opinion, but a lot of my coaches who are dealing with, oh, they're with this other coach. I look and I say, well, are you liked on their page? Like, do you like their coach page? Well, yeah, well, unlike it because they're targeting your friends. That's why. So don't like, comment, or share on other coach pages, but be inspired by them. All right, so here are the common objections to inviting. You don't know what to say. You're a new coach and you're just learning the ropes, so it's really tough for you to know how to approach people. You're fearful of what people would say, or you just fear rejection. And let me just tell you, all those objections are normal to feel, but you are in control. Don't let others determine your success. So I remember I got some killer results from TurboFire, and I loved watching Meredith on the videos. In fact, that's how I actually met her. I was in Nashville. She was having coffee, or I was having coffee, and I wanted to drink it before going into the big cold center, and she was out there with some water. So I had a conversation. So if you're wondering how we got connected, that's how. But I'm like, hey, I used to work out with you. But I got killer results for TurboFire, and it wasn't until people started asking me what I was doing for me to say, I don't want to be a discount coach anymore. I actually do want to share, but I didn't share my before and afters for a long time because I'm a people pleaser, and that was definitely that was really scary. But I eventually started sharing, and when I just was sharing my story, people are like, oh, I know that girl. She's not Photoshopped. This is actually Heather. And so you can sprinkle it in, but don't be afraid of what your high school or college classmate would say if they see you and go, oh my goodness, she's posting about this. No, she's not going to, she doesn't really care. And she probably didn't see it because most of the time you post on social media, only about is it like 14% of the people actually see it of your friends. I thought that was just overwhelming. But okay, so you're going to get better if you actually develop the skills. And here are some ways that I teach my team. This month, and many of you listen to or I hope, the National Wake Up Call by Carl Degler, and he gave us these October through December plant 3 seeds a day calendar. I actually made a short video for my team, and I said, hey, you guys, we're going to do CCQ messages, or in other words, hey girl messages. So CCQ stands for comment, compliment, question. So you're going to reach out to people. Maybe you go into online groups that you are interested in. Like for a long time, I was in MOPS groups, and I'm still in them. My husband works for Edward Jones, and there's actually an Edward Jones spouse group that I'm a part of. And it's just private messaging people and just saying, hey, I see that you just went to the beach, and that is crazy cool outfit that you have on. I love your dress. I'm actually going to Maui in December. Can you tell me where you got that? So like that's simple. I mean, these messages, these CCQ or Hey Girl messages are so fast. Do not spend any more than 15 minutes on them, by the way. Sometimes I'm so good and I finish them in 5 minutes and then I move on to the next. But if you do not have people, if you feel like, oh, I just don't have enough people to invite, that means that you're not talking to enough people. So this is a great thing. My team just is excited, and I told them by Halloween, I know the calendar's a little cut off here, but by Halloween, I want everyone to take a snapshot of their October calendar, and I want our team page of fire starters to just blow up. I want it to blow up with all the new conversations that they're forming, because then when you start to have conversations, they're obviously going to respond back because you're focused on them, and you get to say, you get to form them, the FORM. I'm sure that many of you are familiar with that. Talk about their family, their occupation, recreation, and eventually if the message of the invite to one of your 5-day sack lunch challenges for school, or your 5-day infused water challenge, or whatever it is that you're offering for free, it becomes easy to do that, and most people will flow into a challenge group after that. So make sure that you're starting conversations. And most of the time, people don't know like how to track. And again, I was one of these people. This is one of the things. I was a huge, big frog in my life. And I listened to Shalene, and I started delegating, and I started small. I actually approached one of my discount coaches who needed some income. And I said, look, can you help me with 2 hours a week? That became 5. That became 10. And my business completely took off because she was good at this and I was not. So she helped me use, what she did is she categorized all my customer leads, all my Success Club leads, all of my challengers, and she did this awesome, like this down here, it says a percentage weight loss. So all of this is Google Forms. And so she managed all of that for me. And so I was able to say, okay, who hasn't checked in yet, or who is the winner of the challenge? And she was just like, these are the results. Here you go. And all I did is I took that information and then I messaged him. But I mean, Meredith, are you okay with me showing Asana? Like just a little snapshot? Okay. I'm going to exit out of this PowerPoint and open up my Asana. Okay. Move this guy over here. All right. So Asana.com is free. I want to let everyone know that. And I just want you to know that most people get really, really, really overwhelmed when they see it at first. And let's keep it simple, guys. Let's keep it so simple. And this is just my format. You do you, and I'm just going to show you how I do me. But here are some categories on the left side. I make a big list, and you make lists by going to, see if I open this up. I want to scroll down here. I have so many projects on here. Okay, here we go. It says projects. You just click this little plus sign, and then it says new project. What would you like to name it? I always call my memory jogger just the big list, because that's just easy to remember. So that's where you go to create these little categories that you feel are important to you. Since I'm adding my Hey Girl CCQ messages every single day, at least 3, then I want to add them to my big list. So this is always open when I start communications with people. So I do my Hey Girl messages, and then I come in here and I go, okay, I'm going to add a task. And that person is Betty Boop. Oh, she was such a fine friend. I just loved her spunkiness. And so I'm saying, okay, she is oh my goodness, I already used Betty Boop. That is so hilarious. See, this is what's cool about Asana is that if you type in a name, the system's going to go, nope, you've already created Betty Boop. You're already in connection with her. So if you have an assistant working with you and she's adding, like, let's say if you have a like page, or even on your personal page, if you friend request someone new, they can send them a private message and then add them here. Okay. So she's like an Edward Jones spouse. She has 2 kids, and anything else that you find to be interesting. And then you just click comment and it saves it forever and ever and ever. So maybe you're talking to Betty Boop and you're like, oh my goodness, she, as a stay-at-home mom like myself, she loves the Lord like myself. She loves travel. Oh my goodness. You find like, I really connect with this person. Now, this is what the tagging system is huge. This is what's helped me hit Success Club 10 for the past 2 years. Okay, there's 1 month that I didn't hit it. That's why I'm not an all-star for that, but you get the picture. So you go here and you click on a tag, and my dream team tag is hot lists. So then I click hot list if I feel like this person is really cool and I just connect with her already. So I click that and it leaves a little tag here. So how this becomes really beneficial is when you are having a sneak peek coming up. So if I type in here hot list tag, here's the tag, I click on that, and boom, all of the people that I've been in contact with for years are all right here. I have that I've titled or I've listed hot list, and I'm going to reach out to them privately and send them a message. Hey, I have a group coming up. I don't know if you've considered this, but anyway. So that's that. And also on my big list, I keep track of all my invites. So if, like, for example, this month is a 21-day fix extreme and 21-day fix challenge pack. I just love it when they have those deals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in 21-day fix invite. And here I have all my tags from all the people that I've invited from the past. So I can say, okay, let's go back to March. And here are all the people that I remembered to add the tag. And what I can do now is all the people that said not now, or, you know, I never say no is no, but so like Cassie, for example, I'm going to go over here, and I've kept track of my relationship with her, and I kind of know what she's doing, so then I can, in my follow-up message, I can ask her, hey, how's your job going? I know you have a young baby. Oh, it's so cute. Hey, and by the way, I know in the past, like last March, you were interested in my fixed invite. It wasn't a good time then. Maybe now is a good time. What are your thoughts? And so that's how this is so super slick. And then, yeah, so here are other projects. So my hot listers, I also keep track of my personally sponsored coach conversations. So when I click on this, I have them, I create a section. So yeah, here you go. So you can add a section, and then I would type in, actually my new coach is Mindy. And then I'm going to say something like, getting started right call Thursday at 9 a.m. Okay. So then when I'm on the conversation with my coaches, I can leave myself notes after every conversation, so that as your team grows, you're going to have a lot of coaches. And when you connect with them, you'll go, okay, and you type in their name up here, and boom, you bring it up. And you're like, oh yeah, we had a Getting Started Right call, and this is just really helpful. Here are my Success Club leads, and also customer leads I've added in here. And what my assistant is doing now is she's taking all of my customer and Success Club leads. She's actually run a report in my online office of all of their email addresses, where I'm plugging them into my newsletter. And I'm always saying, hey, if you want to unsubscribe, click here. And I've learned that from Janelle Summers. She said that she adds those contacts to her newsletter, and she always says, hey, if you don't want to get my emails, please unsubscribe, so that your hands aren't slapped that way. So I thought that was great. My invite lists went up my newsletter list went up to about 700 this week because of that. And it was normally, when I was collecting emails, I was at like 200. So I was like, yay, more people. And I also have scripts in here. So this is something that you guys need to really hone in on. Oh my goodness, I only have 10 more minutes. Okay, yep, that's good. So if you are doing your invite process, you can store it in here, or actually I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint, because I talk about that a little bit here. But as many of you know, we have the invite process in the New Coach Training Academy, like, you know, the 5-day step process. My recommendation is to make your own Google document and save it with your own wording and how you reach out, and so that you can easily send that to your coaches and know how to handle objections and whatnot. Okay, so here are the different invites that I do. So I do what's called direct invite. So there are 2 different ways that I invite. The first one is a direct invite. So I private message people. Again, I'm trying to provide the value around the group, whatever that group is. So it's whether it's a clean eating group or it's a challenge group, I message them, and I go through the 5-step process, which I obviously won't go through that right now, because I'm assuming that a lot of you have that. Like I said before, you're writing your own invite process script, so that you're not constantly taking all this time to rewrite things every single month. You can adjust it according to who you're talking to, but that will save you a ton of time. Maybe your direct invites are on Instagram. Maybe your direct invites are on Facebook with the voice memo. That option I just love. I know that, gosh, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, on YouTube, I learned how to use that direct message, that voicemail. And most people are like, oh my goodness, that's so cool. I can actually hear your voice on Facebook. So I invite that way. And I usually get people on the phone. If I invite to a group, I'm like, hey, you know what? Can we just have 10 minutes of time? I want to hear what your needs are. I just really want this group to be a good fit for you. And I always make it about them. And people appreciate that. If people aren't willing to get on the phone, they probably won't say yes to my group. That's just kind of what's happened, I guess. But you can send a message through your email list if you have one, or if you know of who you're sending to, text messages. And I learned this from Tara Bilek. She's one of Mindy's coaches, And she said that once she goes through the invite process and she knows what their goals are, and they're like, okay, what is the challenge group? She actually sends them a video. I don't know why I haven't thought of that. I guess that's why we need to learn from other coaches, but you actually create your own video explaining what a challenge group is. Or if you keep switching your challenge groups up versus it's like a Body Beast one or a multi-program one, or maybe like this month I'm doing a mommy makeover, just explaining what the group is so that you can just save it on your YouTube channel unlisted and you just send it to the people. So it's like you're duplicating yourself and it's less time. So if you're a full-time worker, I think that's a really smart way to go. Or if you're not wanting to do that, have your upline do that for you. Here are some ways that so the second thing to do is passive invites. And here is a picture right here of my September challenge. And the way I feel like the volume on my team has completely elevated because I'm creating monthly events for my new coaches and for anyone in my downline. So this has been huge. So then when people are going through steps 1 and 2 of the invite process, they can say, okay, your goals are this. And you know what? If I sent you to an event where we talked about exactly what this group is all about, would you want to read all about that? And most people will say yes. That's from the GoPro book. And they'll go to this page and they'll be able to read about it, read the descriptions. And every single month I have about between 5 to 10 of my personally sponsored coaches inviting to this. And what we've done is we've been strategic and we're like, okay, so Katie, you're going to go ahead and post something, one motivational saying like every other day to this group, because whoever we invite to this, that'll go on their news feed and they'll see it, because sometimes when you invite people to your events, they don't see it, and that gets people's attention. But once they click going, then you reach out to them. This is actually my cover photo on my like page, and I just called it Mommy Makeover. And when you click on this, so if you type in Heather Johnson Fitness, you should be able to find me if you're curious to see what my application form looks like. But you can click on this and then click on a Google form, and I use bit.ly.com, and I shorten or I make it my form say something, and that's another way of getting people to get your email addresses and get them in your pipeline, and you reach out that way. Oops. That was my PowerPoint. But that was kind of short, and I knew I only had like 25 minutes. I love to talk, but I also wanted to make room for a couple of questions. In a nutshell, guys, that's what I do. I just hit repeat. I know Meredith has a monthly flow of how to do that, but this system of direct and passive invites and just showing up on social media and posting and events and changing my cover photo every single month to reflect what my challenge is just really helps me.
That was amazing. So I have like 3,000, well, honestly, I have 3 pages of notes, like back to back, of things that I know I can do better at. And I thank you for sharing Asana with us, because, I'm like you, I've gone through, like I have a notebook and a this and a that. And I finally started doing a Google document, because I'm like, okay, and I've looked into Asana, and it's always been like a big scary frog that I don't want to eat, I
know, right.
So I've just not been ready for it. But I guess my biggest question for you right now is, so if you could say a time frame, because, you have such great ways of talking to people, and how much time do you spend a day inviting people?
Well, again, like this is an area that I really struggle with. I don't set a timer for myself, and I know I need to, but what I've been doing lately is, okay, so with my email list, I send out I send 2 emails a week. So one is like Motivational Monday, and on Friday or Saturday, it's something for lunch. Sometimes I do a Sunday night email, or on my challenge, like a passive invite on my like page. Sunday evening is the best time to post, is between 7 and 9. I do that with my emails too. like inviting people to a challenge. So if I get a couple people, like the other day I sent out to my list of only probably about 200 people, and I got 3 people responding, yeah, I want more info. Well, that's Success Club if they were able to transition. But I also know that not a lot of people saw that email. And so if I'm getting them on my like page, and so I would say right now, I mean, this is like my invite week because deadline to order is on Monday. So it's Tuesday now. So I'm like killing it with the invite. So I spend probably an hour a day just inviting and then following up. But I'm also now hiring out my assistant to do that for me. So one of the posts that I boosted an ad for, listing the challenge, I have about 60 likes on that one, but no one commented. So I'm going to write up a script, and I'm going to hire out my assistant Taylor to private message all these people to get that invite, like, hey, are you interested? So, but most days I don't spend an hour inviting. It's sometimes just 20-minute pockets here and there.
That's awesome, because that seems like so doable to break it down in those and to send out, the hey girl messages. And like, I love the compliment, that you use, the comment compliment question, because it's so true. Like, how would you talk to somebody at a party that you don't know? Like I do the same thing. I'm always like, hey, your shoes are so cute. Like, where did you get them? So it's the same kind of concept, even online.
Yes, absolutely.
So awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for your time and your energy and putting together that PowerPoint. I know we're going to probably have send this out to the team. We'll have 1,000 questions and all that. Where can we find you on Facebook?
Yeah, just Heather Johnson Fitness, or Fitness and Nutrition with Heather Johnson, or Fit with Heather at Yahoo if you want to send me a message.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. Have an awesome day.
You too.
Bye.